Hey everyone, good evening. Donna Nelson. Welcome to episode 43 of Rooted in Wisdom, a daily dose of Donna. So tonight I am sharing with you how to make a positive impact. Now I know a lot of you, because you follow my page, and most of you are already mission driven, purpose driven. Um, Individuals. So whether you run a business or you just work in the community and volunteer, whatever that is, I know that you already are interested and are making an impact in the community in some way. But I wanted to talk about this because I often hear people say about how do I identify with my purpose? What is my purpose? How do I do something meaningful? I think in this day and age, most of us really want to make a contribution, right? And, social entrepreneurship is like all the rage, right? And, Gen Zs are the most socially conscious um, generation, probably of our time. I mean, making decisions in where they're working and the places they exchange money with, right? Who they do business with, based on this idea of social responsibility and being socially conscious. So this kind of came up for me because tomorrow I was invited to speak at one of my alumni. A community organization is organizing a entrepreneurial um, platform for, I'm trying to think, what's the word I'm looking for entrepreneurs. And so they asked me to speak as has founding a small nonprofit in the community. And so it got me thinking about the importance of social entrepreneurship and how we can all make an impact, but how do we get there, right? And part of it is kind of my story. So, when I started the Adopt a Single Mom Project, which is the name of my nonprofit, I wanted to have a way to give back to the community that was an extension of my own lived experience and something that I could do and create in a way that was an extension of my business, right? So, what am I already doing in my work that I can create an extension of that, something I already know, but something that is already something that I'm passionate and know something about. And so when we talk about making an impact, the only ingredients that you really need if you're trying to find your purpose, but you're not really sure if even the things that you're passionate about can connect to that, just go do shit that you like. So whatever that is. But for most of us, where we're going to make an impact is through identifying what our values are. What do I value as an individual? What do I value in my community? What do I value in other individuals, which are usually a reflection of ourselves or an aspiration that we want to grow to, that we admire in others. But what are those things that, so it's what do we value? And then what part of our lived experience makes us passionate about making a difference, right? So it could be something in the way that you were brought up, and it could be something that you didn't have, something that was a bad experience about your growing up, something that was a great experience, and that you want to make sure others have the benefit of that, right? So those are ways that how we can make an impact. And I want to say that it always comes back to, in the most meaningful way that you can make an impact, because it's through our own story that we can then speak, and that we have, because of that lived experience, be able to create something that can make an impact by drawing others in as a result of our story. The other way that we make an impact, or maybe even the way that we aren't able to connect with that, is because of this incongruence between our inner world and our outer world. So I had to do a whole lot of inner work and working on myself, not only my beliefs, but healing a lot of things from my past and in my current life, and getting really connected to what I even valued that had been really disconnected from myself. So developing that deeper connection with my own truth, healing those things or getting rid of those things that were no longer true for me so that I could get more authentic and get more grounded in what mattered most and how did I want to make an impact. So when I founded the Adopt a Single Mom Project, I had not been dwelling on, wow, would I really love to be able to help working single moms, right? Um, that really hadn't crossed my mind a whole lot of times. But when I decided during the holidays and inspired by another working single mom friend of mine who was doing something similar to what I created, I knew that it was the right thing because it was something I could relate to. And I knew it was a way that I could make a positive impact, filling a need. And that's really the third ingredient, right? So aligning with our values, and then, or maybe it's that four, right? And identifying with something that was part of our own lived experience and getting congruent where our inner world can align with our outer world in the way that we're lit. So in other words, it's a lot of that is that healing piece of it, right? So that we can be really authentic in our messaging in the way that we're serving and not coming from our ego. And then, so I guess that's three. And then four, um, was whatever I just said. What the hell did I just say? The fourth one was. See, this is what happens when I don't actually have notes. So, but yes, so coming from, I'll come back to it. So somebody put it in the notes if you're listening and actually paying attention to what I'm saying. So, but yeah, so doing something that is really meaningful. So I was talking about why I started the Adopt a Single Mom, right? Because it was something from my lived experience that I knew how I could make an impact because it was already part of who I was. So when I saw what Leanne was doing, I knew that I wanted to do that because it was something that I could relate to. And you can go and make an impact doing something that you can relate to and helping others as well. So whether that's something that relates directly to your career or something from your childhood or something from your education or your training, but there's some deeper connection to you, to your own experience, to something that is kind of stewing inside of you in how you want to be able to give back. So I knew from the Adopt a Single Mom project that just because of my coaching alone, in addition to my lived experience and knowing what it's like to be a working single mom and feeling isolated and not having a great support system, and having needs that the community just did not have the resources to support me with. And so, because I knew those things, I knew it would be easy for me to speak to those. But because also of my coaching business, I knew that I could make an impact for these single moms to inspire them and give them some of the resources that I do with my coaching clients to also help uplift and move them forward. So, it doesn't have to be to the extent of creating your own nonprofit or doing some big thing. But making an impact is important for all of us because contribution and our giving and contribution, same thing, I guess, is important for us at a soul level. As human beings, that helps strengthen our connection. So, when I said get aligned with our inner and our outer world and doing that inner work, it's about being connected to ourselves first so that we're understanding ourselves so we can make meaningful connection and an impact with others because we can relate to them better, understanding ourselves first. So, um, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. But anyway, so those are the 4 points, I guess, on how you can make an impact. It doesn't have to be a whole big thing, but the importance of you making an impact, you're contributing to the benefit of someone else, whether it's one-on-one or a whole group in our community. And you're contributing at your own soul level, which is something that we all need, which is making connection with others, and we can do that through making a contribution, and where we're always coming from this place of gratitude and empathy and compassion, which just comes full circle and keeps feeding back to us. So finding a way to be socially conscious and making an impact in our community will continue to feed your soul and uplift you while doing that for others. All right. That is my rooted in wisdom for tonight. All right. See you guys tomorrow.